BBT founder Chara Sevra Dolwal Srila Prabhupada ki Yom Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivadakacharya Ashtotar Sthita Srimad Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada ki Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Prem Sago Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki Brajabhumi Shri Vrindavan Dham ki नवदीप श्री मायापुर धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा मैया की यमुना मैया की भक्ति देव की तुलसी महारानी की सामवेद गौर भक्तवृंद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे all glorious assembled devotees all glorious assembled devotees all glorious assembled devotees all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 10, verse 1st and 2nd. Since the first sloka doesn't have purport, we'll read the second sloka. Tasyapi Bhagavanesha Sakshat Brahmamayo Harihi Amsha Meshana Chaturdhagat Putratvam Prathai Surehi Rama Lakshmana Bharata Shatrugna iti samnaya Tasyapi Bhagavanesha Sakshat Brahmamayo Harihi Amsha Mesha Chaturdhagat Putratvam Prathai Surehi Rama Lakshmana Bharata Shatrugna iti samnaya Tasyapi Bhagavanesha Sakshat Brahmamayo Harihi Amsha Shena Chaturdhagat Putratvam Prathithai Surehi Rama Lakshmana Bharata Shatrugna iti samjaya. Sakshat Brahmamayo Harihi Amsham Shena Chaturbhagat Putratvam Prathai Surehi Rama Lakshmana Bharata iti samjaya. Tasyapi Bhagavanesha Sakshat Brahmamayo Harihi Amsham Shena Chaturdhagat Matajis. Tasyapi Bhagavanesha Brahmamaya Hare Hamsam Shena Chaturbhaga Word meaning? Tasya, of him, Maharaj Dasharatha. Api, also. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeshaha, all of them. Sakshat, directly. Brahmamayaha, the Supreme Brahman, the Supreme Parabrahman, the Absolute Truth. Harihi, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Amshena, by an expansion of a plenary portion. Chaturdha, by fourfold expansions. Agat, accepted. Putratvam, sonhood. Partithaihi, being prayed for. Shuraihi, by the demigods. Rama, Lord Ramachandra. Lakshmana, Lord Lakshmana. Bharata, Lord Bharata. Shatrugnaha, and Lord Shatrugna. Iti, thus, Samgnaya, by different names. Translation purport by the Divine Grace Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Being prayed for by the demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth Himself, directly appeared with His expansion and expansions of the expansion. Their holy names were Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrugna. These celebrated incarnations thus appeared in four forms as sons of Maharaj Dasharatha. Purport. Lord Ramachandra and his brothers Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrugna are all Vishnu Tattva, not Jiva Tattva. The Supreme Personality of Godhead expands into many forms, Advaita Machyuta Manadi Mananta Rupam. Although they are one and the same, Vishnu Tattva has many forms and incarnations. As confirmed in Brahma Samhita, Rama Dimut Shikala Niyamena Tishtan. The Lord is situated in many forms, such as Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrugna. And these forms may exist in any part of His creation. All these forms exist permanently, eternally, as individual personalities of Godhead, and they resemble many candles, all equally powerful. Lord Ramachandra, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrugna, who being Vishnu Tattva are all equally powerful because became the sons of Maharaj Dasharatha in response to the prayers by the demigods. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Tadati Shvapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Utaha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Svam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गे राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, first of all, I seek blessings of all the senior Vaishnavas, Suresh Devakanandan Prabhu and all other Vaishnavas, to discuss a little bit on the subject matter for our purification. So, sloka number 1, the translation is, Shukadeva Goswami said, the son of Maharaj Katvanga was Dhirgabahu, and his son was celebrated Maharaj Raghu. From Maharaj Raghu came Aja, and from Aja was born the great personality Maharaj Dasharatha. And then this sloka is followed. So, recently I was in South India for distribution of books, and then we had got invitation from one of the school principal for talking in the assembly which he had gathered. So we were discussing a little bit about the essence of Bhagavad Gita, what is its application in our life. So after, in between the class only, the discussion started. So one of the lady who was attending, the elderly, she was basically started discussing about the so-called incarnation that she worships, whose name is also followed by Rama. And then the whole discussion, it's getting drifted about. So the whole thing is same. Yes, she also follows what you call kirtana. The object, the mode of worship is similar with incense, all the plate, arti plate, everything is same. And then she was quite convinced. See, we also do everything same. Only thing, the object of worship has become different, and that's what makes the whole thing into avidya or ignorance. Just because yash shastra vidimuschatra vartate kamakartaha na shijjam param noti na shukam na param gatihi. Just because it is not given in the scriptures, one cannot consider an ordinary human being to be incarnation, even though the process they are following may be very much similar to what is been adopted for worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though everything appears same, just because the object has become, changed. What to speak of getting some pious credits, they actually get a result of, or the whole thing becomes ignorance. So that's why it is very important, whatever we do in our life, specifically, it should be based on Shastra. Here it is very clear, the Sakshat word is used. The direct Supreme Personality of God, Sakshat Harihi, is been used. So we accept the incarnations, Ramchandra, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrugna as the incarnations, because it is so clearly defined in the scriptures. and it has been very clearly illustrated by the Guru Sadhu Shastra. So that is the reason we accept the pastimes of the Lord to be transcendental. Even though they appear very humanly, just like any other human being. Specifically we see in the pastimes of Sri Ramachandra, especially when Mother Sita was taken by Ravana, the whole description Ramayana goes, it looks very as if Lord Ramachandra is very, very badly hurt, and just like an ordinary human being, who is attached to his wife, how he suffers by the loss of wife, it looks very much like that. He's going to trees and asking, and he's going to birds and deers. Did you get to see the where Sita is, and he's asking river, and is getting angry with the river, and saying, I'm asking and you're not telling. Just like an ordinary person behaves with the loss of his dear one. You'll find so many places in Ramayana, so specifically it is written, all the four are Vishnu Tattvas, Lord Ramachandra, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrughna. And we will find from their pastimes in Ramayana, they act very much like human beings, but still one cannot mistake them to be ordinary humans. It is sometimes when there is a prison, a prime minister or president may come to see how things are going on, or the prisoners taken care well, are there any grievances that they want to express. So just because they also come to prison doesn't make them one of the prisoners. So there are the two levels of ignorance. So if a prisoner thinks this prime minister is also one of the prisoners, that is also mistaken. Or if a prisoner thinks, oh, prime minister has come to prison, so I am also prime minister. That is also another level of ignorance. So there are two levels of ignorance. One is that considering Krishna or Ramachandra to be ordinary personality of Godhead, which is also described in 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 7.13. That is also one level of ignorance. And considering oneself to be equal to God, that is also another level of ignorance. You can see 7.13 clearly says, Tribir guna mayir bhavan ebi sharvam idam jagat mohitam nabi janati mam yebya param avyayam. Deluded by three modes, goodness, passion and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. So it is by the effect of three modes of material nature, a living entity may consider personalities like Lord Ramachandra like ordinary, by being covered by the three modes. That's why it is very important when we, especially when we read scriptures like Mahabharata and Ramayana, it is very likely that a person may get bewildered considering Krishna or Ramachandra to be ordinary. Because Mahabharata at one level very much teaches about what is dharma, what is adharma. That's the main subject matter which has been discussed. And then Ramayana discusses about what are the different levels of dharma. What is higher dharma, what is lower dharma. And then Srimad Bhagavatam discusses about paradharma. So mainly it focuses on transcendental subject matter. That's why, it is very important we hear specifically different pastimes in Ramayana and Mahabharata as described by previous Vaishnavacharyas. Otherwise it could be very much misleading. In fact, as I was encountering another person who was telling that, what is Ramayana? I said, no, it's the pastime of whole Ramachandra, who is supreme personality of Godhead. He said, no, Ramayana is just like a storybook. Just like you have some incarnations or who are claiming to be incarnations now, and then there are some charitas written about them. This person's charita, this person's charita. And then there are books written about a person who is existing now. In the same way, Ramayana was a book written about a great personality of like Ramachandra in the past. So basically, according to him, it is nothing but a storybook. Of course, probably he may not even have faith on that story that it was real, but nevertheless, it is just like any ordinary person. That's why it is very important we refer Vedic scriptures and then clearly understand what is the real position. Otherwise, it could be bewildering. Even when we see Bharata, at the time when Kaikeyi takes the boons and becomes the cause of Lord Ramachandra to go to the forest, and then eventually leads to departure of Dasharatha Maharaj. The whole episode was happening. Actually, Bharata is not present in Ayodhya. He is there in his Kaikeya kingdom, his maternal grandfather's place. And then Vasishtha sends what we call currently email. Currently we communicate through email. So in those days there was mail by people. So he sends some servants to Kaikeya and tells that, no, Vasishtha, please tell to Bharata to come immediately. In fact, already Bharata gets the dreams in Kaikeya, something like inauspicious dreams. So much so that it is said like, when Bharata was sleeping, he gets a dream that Dasharatha was at the edge of a cliff and is just falling, and as if somebody has pushed, and then he falls in the deep of a valley, and then there is a very bad liquids which are there in that valley, and then he falls in that, and then some witches are hunting him. So the whole inauspicious dream that Bharata gets, and then he's really surprised, how come such dreams are coming, and he was looking towards the direction of Ayodhya, and immediately he gets the news that some messengers had come from Ayodhya, please respond. So messengers come, and Bharata asks, so how is my father Dasharatha? How is Kaushalya? In fact, he clearly asks, how is my quarrelsome mother Kaikeyi? It's like that he asks. And then they tell, everybody is okay, but there is an immediate urgent message from Vasishtha that you should return to Ayodhya. And then he comes, and then when he enters also, of course, while coming back, he has to accompany a great treasure which is given as gift by his grandfather. So it takes some time to come. Nevertheless, in the last day, he leaves from the group and then comes ahead to meet, to exactly see what is the situation in Ayodhya. And then when he enters Ayodhya also, it's all completely, the omens are completely negative, inauspicious. Vultures are crying, and nobody is looking at his face. So, if you clearly observe, even though he is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bharata is one of the expansions. Still, he behaves in this pastime as if he was not aware of what has happened. Till the time he meets, Kaikeyi, he doesn't even come to know that Dasharatha had left, and left the world, and Ramchandra was abolished to forest. So sometimes it may appear, when we are not properly guided while referring these pastimes, it may appear like they just look like ordinary person. Same thing happens, what to speak of us, even the pastime comes when Lord Ramachandra is searching for Sita in the forest, almost like a madman. Even Mother Parvati gets in a way slightly confused, and she asks Lord Shiva, hey, what is this, His whole expressions are such that he really didn't know what happened to Sita, and completely in anguish by the loss of his wife. So in fact, after some search, Lord Ramachandra encounters a lady who is completely like Sita. And then suddenly he changes his mood and expressions and everything, and then he asks, oh my dear Parvati, how come you are alone here? Where is your master? Where is your husband? So actually, it was Mother Parvati, just to test or just to understand, she comes in disguise like Sita Devi. And suddenly, there is not like, there is some preparation time or there is some transient and change of expressions. Now suddenly, Lord Ram becomes like normal, and then he asks, where is Lord Shiva? So, which goes to show that, we need to understand these pastimes of personalities like, Supreme Personality of Godhead from scriptures and from the mouths of, from the lotus mouth of, Acharyas, Vaishnava Acharyas. You'll find even when Krishna was personally performing his pastime, there was a king who keeps 4 hands like Krishna himself, as Pavanputra. And so much so that he writes a letter to Krishna in Dwarka. He said, hey, your hands are fake hands, and I am the real Vishnu or real Krishna. And then, all the, Dwarka people in the courtyard, in that court, when they read this letter, they have a nice fun. He says that, please surrender immediately, otherwise I'm going to chop off your hands with my Sudarshan Chakra. And then he's quite convinced about it, what he was saying. He was really convinced that he was Vishnu and his hands were real hands, and what he had was the real Sudarshan Chakra. And we will find, of course, eventually Krishna in one sense fulfills his desires. There is a war, and then he kills or he liberates King Pavanputra and then awards him Sarupya Mukti, like he gives the same form in Vaikuntha. So the point is, even we will find, so that was there, what to speak of, it was there in the times of Lord Krishna only. When Lord Krishna was personally present, there were people who were considering to be like ordinary person. Or there are this king who was considering himself to be like Lord Krishna. So we should not be surprised when we find such kind of so-called incarnations in the current times. I believe his name is Bishak Sen, who claimed himself to be Vishnu during the times of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bishak Sen, right? Or whatever. Some person who claimed himself to be incarnation of Lord Krishna or Vishnu. And he was really saying, I am going to destroy the entire British kingdom, and I am God. And then this person was not only just claiming himself to be God, and he is indulging in very sinful activities, which is creating a commotion in the society. So eventually, the British government, which was ruling that time, requests Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and then Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually ends up exposing such fake incarnation. So one has to be very clear. In fact, this 7th chapter, 15th sloka says, Namam Drishkitano Muda Prapadyante Naradamaha Maya Aprata Gnana Ashrim Bhavam Ashitaha. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender to me. That's 15th. And even same chapter, 23rd sloka also describes men of small intelligence worship, no, not that one. So basically this particular sloka also describes how by being covered by ignorance, only that a person doesn't accept Krishna to be Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then considers any ordinary. In fact, if somebody is worshipping demigods, it still makes some sense. Why? It is something which is authorized by scriptures, and then people are going to get benefited, of course materially, still they get some benefit because it is there in the scriptures, and indirectly they actually make advancement also, specifically for demigod worship, it is wherever it is done, it is also sugar coated with some Agna Shukriti. Whenever there is some demigod is worshipped, there is some Agna where Lord Vishnu's names are also chanted. In that way, indirectly a follower gets benefited. Even though it is very slow and gradual, still he may get some benefited. Whereas when a person worships these fake incarnations, I think Chaitanya Chanpu calls them as semi-gods. Semi-gods. Semi-god. So when people take to such worship, basically they just glide down. There is nothing tangible benefit that they actually get. So, in fact, I don't know, personally my experience was that earlier, before coming to Krishna consciousness, there was no idea of what is going on. In fact, we were not even, first time, I don't know, in my experience, we came to know about Mayavad only after coming to ISKCON. After coming to Krishna consciousness, there is a philosophy where people call everybody is God. So, after coming to Krishna consciousness, we come to know what is the wrong philosophy and exactly how to defeat it, So, in one sense, we are very fortunate to be coming in the line which was very nicely guided by, guided and given direction by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Which is so rare has so easily become accessible to all of us. Okay. So I request, Pradeep can speak a little bit.
Well, the story you are telling about how Lord Shiva's wife was bewildered, it was not Parvati, it was Sati. And so she got bewildered when Lord Shiva offered obeisances, that which Ram are you offering obeisances? Is Dasarath Nandan Ram, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who resides in everybody's heart or everywhere, or the Ram who is attached to his wife, crying for his wife? He said, all are same. So she got doubt. Sansayatma vinashyati. She got doubt. And that was the cause of destruction of Sati. And she misguided, she disguised herself as Sita. But Ramchandra he is one who has all knowledge. He saw that. And he simply asked, Mother, where is Bholenath, Lord Shiva? How come you are alone? And then she started sweating by hearing this. She offered obeisances. Then she could see Lord Ram everywhere. Anyway, to cut the story short, when she went back to Kailas, she saw her position was changed. Usually, Lord Shiva sat on right side and Parvati Bam Bhag, left side. But this time he had kept her seat right side, superior. Right side means superior. So then Lord Shiva said, she asked, why you changed this my seat? He said, from henceforth I see you Jagat Janani Sita. So you cannot be on my left side. You can always remain right side. That was the cause of Sati. That time she decided, if this body cannot be used in the service of my husband, then what's the use of this body? And that's how Daksha Yajna took place. And then Parvati came later on. So it was not Parvati, but it was Sati.
Any comments or clarifications? Srila Prabhupada ki jai.